Oops. Good morning, beautiful people of the world. Good morning. I wasn't trying to click you all on right then and there. I told y'all this phone been acting crazy. Good morning, good morning, good morning to you and you and you. Happy Monday. Damn. I can't believe it's Monday again. Jeez Louise. And yes, I put the alarm on. I did. Oh, I can't believe it's Monday already. Oh, I gotta get him to cut these bushes down. They just grew like crazy with all that rain. I don't know if y'all can see them, but it's a lot of bushes right here. I'm gonna show them to you all. But good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Got a lot of rain yesterday. It is Monday, June 9th, 2025. June is just moving along, y'all. Moving right along. How you guys doing? How was your weekend? Hope you had a great weekend. It was short, wasn't it? Like, man, what happened? But it was short. But thank God we made it to see another day. I hope you all have had a safe weekend. As you all know, I did go to the party yesterday, the yellow and white party. It was decorated very, very pretty. I will share some pictures with you guys in a little short video. I'll do that today when I get a moment. I didn't do it last night, but it was a really nice party. It stormed while we were at the party. By the time I left, it had stopped, and I was coming back into the city because the party was out in the suburbs. I was coming back into the city, and it had started to rain, and then it stopped. So, yeah, but it was nice. It was nice. Everybody had on yellow and white. Of course, people never follow the rules. One lady had on all green. One lady had on yellow and black. And of course, there were women there that had their stomachs out that were my age. One girl had on these yellow shorts. They was really sharp. They was like some sequence shorts. They were sharp. There was a little hoochie side too, in my opinion. I did not win for best dress. I did not even go up there and get into the contest. And nobody said, I heard nobody, we were sitting kind of like in the back. I didn't hear nobody say, oh, it's time for best dress. You know, this person, that person, come up. None of that. And the person who won for best dress, that's all I'm gonna say. But it was a nice party. She had a good time. She looked really pretty. She had on all white. She was supposed to wear something else, but she said it was some mishaps with her dress because she had just had surgery like 2 weeks prior. So she looked really good. And, you know, and I'm telling y'all, I looked at myself on those pictures and I am huge. I am going to message my doctor today and say, listen, I need some help. My arms are huge. And there was a young lady that I was sitting there with. We were all talking about menopause. And she was talking about how she's gained 30 pounds. And I was like, girl, I know. So we were talking about that, and we were just talking about, you know, a lot of different things. And you know, just a lot of different stuff. But this menopause is she just evil. But she had a nice crowd of people. There was a lot of people there. It was a nice crowd. I've seen more people at her parties when she had them in her backyard. I don't know if a lot of people didn't come because of the $10. I don't know. But that also was strange. So when I got there to the venue, they gave you a little raffle ticket. Gave you a ticket if you paid, right? So I walk in. She told me she was going to have a ticket set aside for me to say that I paid, but she didn't. So when I walk in, I tell the lady that I've already paid my $10. And the lady says, oh, okay. And I said, did Erica leave did she leave the ticket here? And they were like looking really strange or whatever. So I said, they said, well, we just need to know if you paid it. I said, okay, so you want me to go into my Zelle? I said, because I Zelled it to her. So she said, yeah. So I go into my Zelle, which I didn't want to do that because I don't want people to see how much money I have in my account, right? So I just, I showed it to her. And so they were like, oh, okay, because it was at the top. So I'm still not really clear or really sure what the $10 was for. I don't know if it was $10 entry. So maybe it was I don't know, maybe that's what they charge people. Maybe that was to pay for her to have the party there because $10. I don't know. I didn't ask. I just sent the $10 and, I'm assuming. It said $10 entry fee. So I'm assuming. But it was a banquet hall. You know what I mean? It wasn't a club. It was a banquet hall. It was really pretty. The security guard was a little cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. She was real weird because everybody was pulling into the lot. She was trying to get us to go park in this other lot. And I'm like, why do I need to go park in that lot? And this parking space is right here. I'm not understanding that. She was weird. She was a little weird to me. She looked a little weird. I don't know. So, anywho, overall, it was a very, very nice party. The other thing that happened at the party, my ex was at the party, not the ex-friend. I ain't gonna even call him an ex, somebody that I just used to deal with. Remember I told you all the story about the guy who keyed my car and it was $2,200 worth of work? Well, he was the DJ because he's a DJ. He was there. He was one of the DJs. She had two DJs. He was there and he saw me because I saw him. And at one point in the party, he came off of the turntables and walked out, and I was sitting in the back, and he went and hugged two people. He never came back, near me. And I thought he was, and I was going to turn the party out. And I'm so glad he did not come anywhere near me. Because when I walked in, he saw me. Because our eyes connected, And I was like, don't come back here. Please don't come back here. It's not even a please don't. Come back if you want to and see what's going to happen. It's that. It's not a please because it's going to be what it is. Because he could never come to me and say, do you forgive me? No. And where's my motherfucking money? Where's my $200 that I loaned you? And where's my $2,400 that it took to repair this car? 2 restraining orders I had to put on him. 2. And it's been some years, so You know, that's the one I told you that he called the this place, this mental health facility. My son was young, because I hadn't even started this job yet. So Chris had to be like 3 or something like that. I think he was 3. And you know, they could have investigated me. I could have, you know, been investigated. Not, you know, I know that I wouldn't have lost my child, but I'm just saying the games he played all over this raggedy ass bitch who he ended up marrying and having a child with, and he's not with her anymore. And everything in his life started to crumble. As it should. As it should. As it should. So, I was like, don't come over here. Car sound horrible. But I had a really, really good time. I saw a lot of my friends from high school was there because they know her as well. So a lot of them, I do not know what's going on with this phone. It just clicked off. Is this phone possessed? I don't know. But I was saying a lot of my friends were there. And my high school friends were there. So I had a good time with them. And that was it. And so I came on and came home. Went by to see Chris before I came home. Went in and chit-chatted with him, and I got on him after we got off the camera yesterday, you know, because he really had pissed me off. And I told him, I said, listen here. I said, I would never disrespect you, your hair or whatever. I said, but when I'm telling you something, or I'm telling you something about your hair, and I said, you don't slap my hand away. Who you think you're dealing with? I'm not your friend. You don't do that. I said, that was very disrespectful. So the reason why you get your hair cut is because of me. You know, he was saying something to me about something he was saying. I don't remember. I told him, I said, that the water that you use to wash your hair and to wash your ass, I pay for that. Like, boy, don't fuck with me. You gonna get fucked up. On site. On camera. Real talk. Don't do it. Don't do it. Anyway, I gotta fix this. I hope this don't click off. This phone is acting strange. Did this yesterday. Every time I got ready to record, it kept clicking off. On and off. On and off. Anywho, yeah, so he kind of pissed me off yesterday. And I had to tell him about himself, you know. Don't get beside yourself. Please don't. Because this ain't the smoke you want. He knew that he had made me mad yesterday, so he apologized. And I don't know if you all saw yesterday's video. I was trying to be cool because I was recording and I knew that you all were watching. But when I got off, I told him about himself. I said, don't you ever slap my hand away as if I'm some bitch out here on the street that you don't want to be bothered with. I said that was totally disrespectful. So we don't flow like that. Now, if you want us to flow a different kind of way, we can. But it all depends on you. I said, you beg me for too much shit. You always in my face asking me, can you have? Do you have? Can you buy? You know what I'm saying? So miss me. And I mean that. I'm too good of a mama for you to ever think you can disrespect me. He apologized. Not once, but twice. I don't play. I don't play that. I told him yesterday before we left the house to put the towels in the dryer and to turn the dryer on. I came home last night. He turned them. There's no way he could have turned those towels on. They were too wet. But this is the kind of stuff I'm talking about with him. About him being, and then he gonna tell me in the car that I treat him when we got him. You treat me like a baby. I said, well, I tell you what, get motherfucking grown, so I don't have to treat you like a baby. I said, that's what you do. Hurry up, get grown. I said, matter of fact, I said, find you a job this summer where you work at 8 hours, 5 days a week. I said, and then get you some overtime and work on the weekend. And then find you an apartment. Find you an apartment and get the fuck on. That's what I told him yesterday. I said, because you always talk about somebody treating you like a baby. I said, you can't even do simple shit that I tell you to do. He spilled that drink Saturday. Y'all heard me say that. He spilled that. Then he went back and made sure he wiped it up. No, my mother had to go out there yesterday and clean the car out. The drink would have never spilled had he did what I told him to do. Okay, that's number one. Number two, you tell me that I treat you like a baby, but you don't know how to do shit. You don't know how to do nothing. And it's not that he don't know how to do it. He does it half-ass. If you wash the dishes, I said part of washing the dishes is drying the motherfuckers and putting them away. Part of washing the dishes is sweeping the kitchen, mopping the floor, wiping out the stove, the refrigerator, the counters, cleaning out the sink. He washes dishes, it's water every motherfucking way where you can swim up in that bitch. He washes the dishes, he don't dry shit. One day when we was in the apartment, he washed the dishes and put all the silverware and dishes on the stove, on top of the stove. And I go in there and I'm like, where is the water dripping off the stove? He tells me, oh, I thought you were going to dry. Excuse me? I said, dry them where? And how? I thought you was going to dry. I said, first of all, if I was going to dry them, why the fuck are they on top of the stove? And then that's another thing he told me. That he said, Mama, you know, you curse at me. You curse at me. I said, Christopher, I said, you curse. I had to tell you to stop cussing. I said, so, no, I said, you used to this. I said, and I know how much you cuss when you with your friends. I've heard you, and you slipped up so many times with me. So, go, I said, don't try to act like you're so sensitive to that, because you're not. Don't do it. But anyway, yeah, he put all the silverware, all the cups, everything on top of the stove. I said, well, so was the stove going to dry the dishes? I said, because I'm confused. No, I put it up there because I thought you was going to you was going to dry. Even if I was, which I ain't, because you finna go in there and you finna get that water up off the floor. You finna wash that stove off. You finna dry that stove off. Where you come from? You must have ran the light. You gonna dry that stove and you gonna dry them dishes. I'm like, what in the entire hell is going on here? I've showed him 3 or 4 times how to wash his clothes. I said, I'm not doing this no more. Just like he asked me the other day, would I wash his hair? I said, no. I said, no. You wash your own hair. I said, because first of all, you complain about how I do it. And I said, what do I need to wash your hair for? I said, you don't need me to wash your hair. Well, you know, you really scratch my hair really good. I said, but when I've done that, you've complained. You doing it too hard. I said, I'm not finna be bothered with that shit. I said, you do it. So I don't mind helping you. I don't mind doing anything for you. I said, but your mouth is gonna get your motherfucking teeth knocked the fuck out. Cause I ain't got time for that. I ain't got time for that. Would you come on here today? Just go as slow as you want to go. I told my son, your mouth is gonna get your teeth knocked the fuck out. So I don't wash his hair no more. I used to wash it, but he acted like, I was, scratching his hair too. I ain't got time for that. So you do it. He tells me yesterday, after he told me that I treat him like a baby, and he wants to tell me all of this shit. He tells me that he comes to me and he says, I want to go get my hair cut next week, and I made the appointment, but I don't have the $40 to get it cut. Do you have $40? See what I'm saying? But I treat you like a baby, though. I said, you don't have $40? He said, no. I said, well, guess what? This is what grown folk do when they don't have money to get their hair done, their nails done, this, that, and the third done. I said, you know what they do? They don't get it done. They have to wait until they get the money to do it. I said, so I suggest you wait until you get the money. I said, but wait. I said, you don't have a job, right? He was looking real funny. I was like, how you gonna get your hair cut? Well, that's what I was saying. I was thinking, I was wondering. Okay, you was thinking and you was wondering. Thinking and a wondering, right? Thinking and a wondering. Yeah. You were thinking and a wondering what? What was you thinking and a wondering? Well, I don't have the money. Right. You don't have the money because you need me to give you the money. I'm just saying. I said, oh, no. I said, you're not a baby, right? I said, so here's the thing. When you're grown, you have to pay for your stuff because you're an adult. I said, so what you need my $40 for? Not my 40, not the one who was touching your hair you was having to fit. You don't need my money. You need my money? Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. Right. I said, I'm gonna give you the money to get your hair cut. I said, but let this be a lesson about you being disrespectful. I said, you can't be disrespectful to the hand that feeds you. You can't be disrespectful to the one that you always talking about, mama this, mama that, mama. I said, no, that's not how that work. That's not how that work. I said, and when you get a job and when you get out on your own and in the world, I said, you still gonna respect me because I'm your mother. Period. This is not a negotiation. This is not a, no, that's not what this is. I said, and if you feel that you can't respect me, you can stay the hell away from me. Speaking of motherhood, I don't know how many of you all watched the movie on Netflix, the Tyler Perry movie, Straw. I implore you to go watch that movie, especially if you are a single black female woman, or if you just a woman of any nationality looking at this, looking at my video. I am not going to tell you about the movie until I want to discuss the movie, but I don't want to discuss it until you guys, enough of you all write on my videos that you all have seen it. I need at least 5 to 10 people, whether you male or female, to write in the comment section how many of you all saw the movie. And after I get those 5 or 10 people, we are going to discuss it, okay? I don't want to talk about it right now because it just came out Friday and it's just Monday. And so a lot of people probably have not had an opportunity to watch it. But I watched it, and I'm going to watch it again. I watched it on Netflix last night before I went to bed. And when I tell you that it is riveting, when I tell you that it pulls every emotion from you from every which angle, when I tell you that it is relatable, when I tell you that as a mother, as a single woman, as a black woman, as a woman, period, I will say to you, especially if you are or have been a single woman, single mother, especially if you've been a mother, period, okay, whether you were married, not married. But this is about a woman who struggles, okay, and has had some struggles. When I tell you it was the twist and turn of how things turned out was heartbreaking. It will have you, it's very enthralling from the beginning to the end. And when I say that, what I mean by that is that it had me. You know what I mean? It had me. Okay? It had me. It had me. It had me to the point that I didn't know if I wanted to cry. I didn't know if I wanted to scream. I didn't know if I wanted to be angry. My emotions were just all over the place watching this movie. He needs to get an Oscar. I know a lot of people don't like Tyler Perry. I love Tyler Perry. I love what Tyler Perry has done and is doing for a lot of black upcoming actors and actresses that Hollywood overlooked. Taraji P. Henson, she ought to get an Academy Award. She played the hell out of this part. I like her anyway. I've seen her in Baby Boy. She's been in a lot, you know, who Taraji P. Henson is. She's been in a lot of movies. But I just didn't know what to do. I was sitting there going, okay, I felt like I said, I felt like I wanted to cry. I felt like I wanted to scream. I was angry. I was just all over the place with it, right? And I felt everything. I felt it as a woman. I felt it as a single woman. I just felt it. I mean, I just, like I said, I didn't know if I wanted to cry or there were moments in the movie that I was just like, wow. That's all I will say. But I need you all to go look at it so we can talk about it, because we got to talk about it. And we got to talk about it because it's real. We got to talk about it because every one of us, it could be any of us as women that have been a mother, and how we feel about our babies and how we love on our babies. It was deep. I'm going to say that. It was deep. I mean, it was just so, I mean, she had one day of just wasn't working for her, you know. And I don't know if you all have ever, I remember one time I was trying to, they were threatening to turn my lights off, right? And I needed $500 to pay the light bill. And I was laid off. And I was trying to get this money to pay the light bill so that the lights wouldn't get cut off. And I went to, I don't remember where I went. I don't even remember now. But anyway, I had to, I don't even remember how I paid him back. But a friend of mine that I worked with at the University of Chicago, he was married. And he and I were friends. He liked me. I was because I got laid off. Let me tell you, that getting laid off, that was the worst part of my life. That was the worst part of my life. I've had a lot of, you know, ups and downs and all of that. So, I had called him up and I said, I need some help. I said, I need $500 so these lights gonna get cut off. And the reason why the light bill was behind was because I got laid off, hadn't got no unemployment yet. I was trying to pay the rent. I mean, it was just, and I had a child. And if you have never, ever, ever had a moment, a come to Jesus moment, you cannot relate to this movie. You won't be able to relate. If life for you has just been easy, and you've never had any type of financial situation, you won't be able to really relate, okay, to this movie. But if you have, you see yourself. I saw myself as her. I saw myself as that. You know what I'm saying? I saw myself. And if you can't see yourself in that, in her, then you won't feel what I felt and what most people who saw that movie felt. It was deep. It was deep. But it was very, very good. I wanted to see what happened. You know, like I wish there would be a part 2, like to tell us what happened with her, you know. It was good. It was very, very good. It was very good. And it hit home on so many levels. I'll say that. It hit home. So yeah, it was good. You know, life can be, whew, life can be as beautiful as it is. It's evil. It is evil. People are evil. But I will say this. I always say that it is so many wonderful, beautiful people in the world that will help you. So many. I've experienced it myself. I've experienced people being mean and being negative. But it's really, 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 really a good movie. And I was going to talk to you all about something else, but I think I'll save it for tomorrow for Truthful Tuesday. I want to talk about jealousy. We talk about it a lot over here, but I just want to give you all some examples of what I'm talking about. So we're going to talk about that tomorrow. But I do want to say to those of you all that are new here, thank you guys so much for subscribing. And thank you all for leaving comments and letting me know that you are new. and that you are enjoying the content. I really, really appreciate you all from the bottom of my heart. So, yeah, we're going to talk about that tomorrow, because I want to tell you all something that happened at the party. And I have discovered that, and I really hadn't connected the dots, as they say, but I kind of know why somebody stopped talking to me. This person deleted me and blocked me. And I figured it out. She kind of told on herself at the party. And when she saw me at the party, she was real uncomfortable around me. You know, she was real uncomfortable around me. And that's all I can say. That's all I can say. But anywho, you guys, I'm gonna let you all go. We're gonna talk about it tomorrow, and I'm gonna tell you why she was uncomfortable around me. And I figured out what her issue is, and it has nothing to do with me, but everything to do with her. So, you know, people will tell on themselves because it's not always about what you did or how you move, but it's more so about them than anything. So I will let you all go. We're going to talk tomorrow. I hope you all have a great Monday, and we're going to chit chat tomorrow. Okay? All right. Have a good day. All right. Peace and blessings. Bye.